It's a beautiful day, and I don't know, for some reason today my mind is just, rolling and rolling and rolling, searching for answers. But one thing I know for sure is these answers are to make us better. Not only you, by the way, myself, whenever I talk about some of these things, by the way, I gain more from these sessions than you even gain. Now, that is how much I love knowledge. That is how much I love searching for answers. Mine is a life of endless quest, of the possibilities of being better, of having more, of being more, of a better identity, and just success and significance. So if you are with me on this journey to getting better, and not just getting better for you, but getting better for other people, let's dive in. And just a short prayer. Lord, I thank you. Even as we get into this session, I pray that you are able to communicate more than I can ably communicate, that you will stir up our minds, that you'll remind us, that you will cause us to think deeply about the things that are going to propel us into the success, into the significance, and the kind of life that you have prepared for us. Amen. All right. So in case this really helps you, I would call you to be able to share it with someone and tell them what we do in this community, in this beautiful community of mentorship with Bahati, all right, where we sit down and talk about life. Today, I want us to talk about discipline, because I've been having or facing or getting a lot of questions about self-sabotage, about procrastination, because people set out the year with resolutions, with goals, with vision boards, and while you are setting it up, it feels like you're going to achieve everything there, and then it feels like, life is unstoppable. In that moment, there is a lot of hope, there is a lot of, but as one day goes by, 2 days, 1 week, the other week, by the time you ask yourself and you're like, you know what, I started this year enthusiastic. I started this month enthusiastic. I set out my goals. Why is it that I'm not even able to do anything that gets me to those goals? Why is it that I'm not able? And one of the things that I want us to talk about is the lack of discipline and the cultivation of discipline that is going to help you and I to achieve the goals that we want to achieve, even much bigger than we want to achieve. And when we talk about discipline, we say that it is the ability to control your actions, your emotions, and habits, to stay committed to your goals, even when you don't feel like it. It's about choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. All right, when you look at the comfort that you have right now, not doing anything about your goal feels comfortable. Let me just say, you set out to lose weight, and all of a sudden, instead of looking at the long-term goal and being able to put in the work right now to make sure that you achieve that long-term goal, you go ahead and enjoy the comfort of now, eating bad, sleeping bad, doing all the things, not working out, or just skipping your workouts, whatever it is that you had committed yourself to do. Because whenever we are setting up the vision boards and the goals, remember that is a commitment. So some of us, it's a party. We call them parties. Yes, they are parties in that moment, but I need us to know that they are commitments that we are making, and commitments that we must keep in order to realize the results that we want to be able. Now, if you don't keep yourself accountable, if you don't keep yourself disciplined, if you don't have the ability to control your actions, to control your emotions and habits, because those are the compounding effects of the kind of successful life that you want to be able. It is compounded over time, and it is compounded with the emotions, with the habits, with the actions. Okay, we don't get to skip anything and all of a sudden find ourselves in the good life. Otherwise, we would have said, oh, God is a miracle working God, and so we are just going to close our eyes and just snap our fingers, and we're going to arrive at the destinations that we want to be able to arrive. Not even God can allow about that, because God is a God of discipline. He's a God that does not just let us off the hook so that, we can just have the life that He has designed for us to have. There is work, because then we can never even sustain it if we get it in the first place. Proverbs 12 says that whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. Whoever hates correction is stupid. We are correcting ourselves right now. So that means that discipline helps us grow in wisdom and understanding. And without it, we remain stagnant for the rest of our lives. We remain stagnant. You and I don't want to remain stagnant. I, for one, I don't want. Let me tell you, I will do anything in my power. I will forego anything. I will discipline myself about anything to just make sure that I am not stagnant. There is nothing as painful as living a stagnant life. There is nothing as painful as being in the same spot you were 5 years ago. So many of us set out to do the vision boards and the goals. And if you can look critically, I have done this, and I have looked critically at people's vision boards, and they are working towards the same things again and again and again. You cannot even see like there is any kind of movement. And yet life is we are supposed to at least, get one thing, be disciplined at it, and say, you know what, it's possible that I wasn't able to hit my weight goal, but I hit my money goal. It's possible that I wasn't able to hit my, money goal, but I hit my marriage goal. I hit my relationship goal. It's possible that I wasn't, what is it? Can we see some movement? Can we see some shift? Can you not be stagnant? Okay? Because being stagnant kills. Yeah, being stagnant derails, being stagnant discourages, being stagnant, and it becomes a loop. Okay, a loop of where you don't do the things that you're supposed to do, and you're stagnant, and that stagnation pushes you into the derailed mode, and then that derailed mode pushes you into discouragement. Discouragement pushes you into stress, into depression, and then the loop begins again. So some of us have lived that kind of life for the longest time. We are in a vicious loop or in a vicious cycle of stagnation. And yet we pray, and yet we fast, and yet we are doing all these things, and I'm saying that they don't move the needle. But let me tell you, if you pray without acting, if you pray without discipline, if you pray without the productivity activities, nothing is actually going to shift. So I need us to take discipline so seriously. Hebrews 12:11 says that no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have trained by it. That means that discipline may be hard in the moment, but it always leads to growth and righteousness and peace and success. And, the rewards are enormous. I just wanted to, because some of you will talk about discipline and you will never see it as a biblical principle. You will never see it in the wealth creation. You will never see it as a godly thing. But discipline is a godly thing. Self-discipline is very, very key. Proverbs 25, and I think that is the last one I will give you. Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control and self-discipline. Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self. That means there are external forces that are controlling you all the time. You do not have self-control at all. But I want us to be able to talk about some of these things. What we will get back to the benefits, but right now let me just go through a list of things that I have done. And let me tell you, faithfully, these things have served me. They have served me. They might seem small, they might seem trivial, but they have been catalysts in me advancing, growing, and getting to where I am. And I'm still cultivating them because I'm not where I want to be. I still have a journey to go to. But one of them is being able to control the time that I actually go to bed. By meaning control, I have an alarm, and I set this alarm knowing that at night is most of my productive time is actually late in the night. So if I purpose and say 11 or midnight, this is the time, and that fluctuates according to the different seasons. When the children are going to school, that also fluctuates. By the way, when my children start school, I sleep way earlier because I know that I have to wake up quite early. So that means I need to be able to set not just my waking up time, but I need to be able to maximize and know that I need 7 hours of sleep, or I need 8 hours of sleep. So if I need 8 hours of sleep, I am going to have to sleep at this time in order to wake up at this time. Now, I keep fluctuating it and changing it in depending on seasons, especially school seasons versus holiday seasons. But that has served me so much that I do not even have to have an alarm to wake up. My body wakes up itself at its own time. Why? Because I know that if I need 7 hours or 8 hours of sleep, then I must be able to go to bed at this time. And being that I'm not that much of a morning person, I will make sure that I eat into my night so that I do most of the work that I need to do, the studying, the research. I need to be able to, I need to be able to do my night routine and all that. So I make sure that I drag it along so that I can have more time in the morning to actually rest. And that has served me perfectly well. Now, some of you can set your times and say, or someone dictates and say, oh, by 8 you should be in bed, by 9 you should be in bed, by 10 you should be in bed. You should be able to understand yourself. Are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? If you're not a morning person, set your time. Do not copy and paste other people's times and put them into your time. But for me, this is a discipline that has served me so well that I start my day fresh. I start my day, and knowing that I have A, B, C, and D to accomplish, and I know that I have enough energy to be able to accomplish the tasks because I got enough rest and I got the work that I needed to do done. Okay, so I need you to understand yourself. What are your criterias? Who are you? Are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? What time do you go to bed? That is so crucial. And so many of us, we actually prioritize more the time that we wake up. But for me, I chose to prioritize. I have a health check app on my phone, and if it's time to sleep, I will get an alarm that, it's time to sleep, because I set it in my productivity routine and system that, okay, if it's time for me to be able to sleep at this time, then I'm going. It doesn't matter what is happening in the house, by the way. It doesn't matter whether someone is watching something, whether someone is doing something. I will just excuse myself and say, okay, I think this is my time now, and let me just make sure that I do what I need to do because I want to wake up energetic the following morning. The other thing was to limit my TV time and invest more in my mind, invest more in my reading, invest more in things that I know are building and are discipline. Recently, I think it was the day before yesterday, I just woke up and said, you know what, I have this it's a bookshelf. It was a gift from our carpenter that is during the Christmas season. So it has been in the gazebo for a very long time and empty. So one thing I decided, I had so many books that I had stacked and bought over time that I had not even dived into, and I really needed to get time and read them. So what I did was getting them out of the boxes. I had one of my boys help me get them out of the boxes, place them on the shelf in the gazebo. So every time I'm in the gazebo, whether I've put on some music to play, I know that I have a book that I can be able to read. And when I begin a book, that means my mind will keep me bringing back to that book so that I can be able to finish it up. Instead of sitting in the living room and just watching, either someone is watching series, and I'm trying so hard to bring this discipline also into my children. When they are younger, it's quite hard because then they want to watch. So I even had to tell the people in my home, tell them that, you do not watch TV early in the morning. During the holidays, you do not wake up. I remember I have a boy who is around 17, 19, and he would be like, wake up very early in the morning, do just one chore like this, and sometimes not even do anything, and he will just go to the living room or go to the cartoon house and just put on a movie. And so I was like, okay, so what does he do in the morning? So I told them, you know what, there has to be a timetable. Everyone in this home, I live in a home that has quite many people. I love it that way, and my husband loves it that way. So I was like, what does he do? Okay, let's make a timetable so that everyone knows what they are supposed to do. But even after you are done with your chores, I should not catch anyone watching TV, because I do not want, because it can be a habit that even the younger ones pick up and think they can wake up early in the morning and watch TV. There is no watching TV in the morning. There are particular time zones and time blocks where they are supposed to watch TV, and everyone should be able to accept that, and everyone should be able to follow that. So do your chores, play, have plenty of time in the sun playing, because when you start sitting and just watching cartoon and watching movies, you're going to be like broilers and your immunity is low. That means you're not even creative. I need you to be creative. So that also, now I have extended it into my children's life, but it has worked for me so much so that watching TV right now is something that I have to battle with. Sometimes I watch TV because my husband is watching and I want to give him company, and not because I really want to watch. And sometimes he will know that I'm actually aloof, because I'll ask weird questions, and then after that time I'll be able to just excuse myself and say, okay, or maybe I'm going to pray, or I'm going to read, or I'm going to do something, and then I will disappear, go do something else. I feel it feeds my mind more, okay? And I feel it, I'm not saying TV is bad altogether. TV is not bad. You can watch the news, you can have some good series that you're following, you can have some good movies that you are watching. They are also good for entertainment, but too much of it is going to kill your creativity, and then it is not a discipline that is going to move a needle or move the needle to the results that you want to be able. So if I want to get the results, because I shoot I shoot my shows and I produce these shows, 5 of them or 6 of them in a week. That means my study time has to be intense. Okay, so that means I have to be very disciplined to know that I cannot just do anything that everyone is doing, but I have a routine of my own. I do it even when I don't feel like doing it, and let me tell you, it helps me a lot. It helps me prepare for these chats with you. It helps me have a clear mind about what we are going to talk about. It helps me revisit the questions that you have sent me. It helps me revisit, the conversations that we have had with different people, so that I can see where we are lacking behind and what we need to be able to talk about in order to move the needle in the right direction. If I did not have the discipline, I would not be helpful at all. That means my life would have been chaotic, and I would have been extending that chaos to you, which I do not want. So you want to live a better life, you want to live a successful life, a significant life, make sure that you discipline yourself. The other thing I did was to turn off notifications. Let me tell you, I have 0 notifications on my phone. 0 notifications. Actually, I will not say completely 0. The only notification I get is about my sleeping time. It's a health app, and it just says, you know what, it's time for bed. It will just bring it, and I don't let it also scream and shout. It is in silent, so it will just pop up on the phone, and I will know. And when it pops up, my screen immediately goes to the lowest, it dims itself to the lowest light. So that means even if I was reading, even if I was doing anything, like, my phone is just dimming itself to the lowest light, to no light at all. And so because I'm preparing for bed, I need to be able to zone out all the lighting, the blue light of the phone, to be able to relax enough and go to sleep, so that I can have a very good rest. So you realize, when it comes to all the apps that I set up, be it Instagram, be it TikTok, all the apps that I have on my phone, the first thing when I'm setting it up, and they say, do you want notifications? I say, no. Do you? Yeah, and sometimes I even take notifications off the email, because I have a particular time where I read all the emails. So if I'm to read all my emails in the night, then I'm going to do that, and the following day is going to be the night, and the other day. So I don't need notifications, because these are distractions. While you are you have one line of thought. When a notification comes, it sways you off, and you returning to that laser focus mode becomes so hard. And yet I need to be productive, and yet, so if I had a meeting, or if I was just writing a document about something, if I was in a meeting, if I don't want that kind of distraction, that is not helping, that is not moving the needle. I have set my timelines. I have set timelines for deep work. I have set timelines for concentration, and all of a sudden a TikTok notification comes on, or an Instagram notification comes on. That is going to be a distraction, and I do not want that, because distractions kill dreams. If I have any dreams that I want to get to, if I want to have, I have sessions all the time. And for some of you that have tried calling me, when you call me and I'm in a session, I will not pick. I will return the calls either late in the evening, or I will just send a simple message to let you know that, okay, we can be able to chat, but I cannot be able to speak on phone, because that's quite distracting sometimes. So I need you to program your life, not according to what the world expects, but according to what works for you and what moves the needle. Okay, so for me, I knew that notifications are not for me. If I need to focus, I need to focus. I don't need anything that takes me away. So that brings me to something else that I actually did, and something that really mattered to me was to make sure that I changed my algorithm to fit my needs. The algorithms have a lot of power. All the apps have power. They are created in such a way that they demand your attention. And so what I did is, when I set up an app, what I do is I limit who I see. I limit what comes into my feed. I unfollow whoever I need to unfollow. So I keep auditing all my apps. My Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, so that means whatever I allow come into my feeds is content that builds me. It's more like, so even when I decide to scroll on my TikTok, even when I decide to scroll on my Instagram, everything that is coming at me is actually something that is educative, something that that sends me closer, that pushes me closer to my success, something that is informative, something that is teaching me. So I have set these apps as like a mini university of some sorts, that every time I'm scrolling, I'm actually learning. It's not vanity. It's not wasting time. It's not, as in, sometimes I'll even, land on something, and then I will follow it up. I'll be like, okay, I need to see what she has done more. And then I will go to her page, and then, I will go to his page, and then I will read more, and then I will be edified. And I will feel like, you know what? This is more like a devotion. This is more like something that triggers my mind. This is more something that challenges me. And I follow people that challenge me. I follow people that are where I want to go. I follow people that are also on their journey of growth, but they have a different kind of mindset and thought process, and it is something that, that is helpful to me. So I follow people, only the people that I want to come to my feeds. So that means I'm very selective who I follow, very selective who I follow. And that means, because the reason as to why some of these apps have all these options, like you can decide to see more of that particular content, or you can say see less, or you can say block, or you can say I don't want to see that content ever again in my feeds. All those options are there so that you can mastermind, so that you can curate. Actually, the right word is curating the kind of content that you want to see. So can you get in the habit of commanding that everything you see you have chosen? The content you watch should be about being more creative, should be about being more successful, should be about being more significant, should be something that pushes you closer to where you want to get. Not something, we are looking for distractions left, right, and center. The things that make us laugh, the things that entertain us, the things that are things that like add no value at all. And so you watch it over and over again, and yes, you are smiling, but that is the comfort of that moment. What seeds are you planting for the long-term success that you want to be able to achieve? So for me, discipline is very crucial. The discipline of me having to rearrange, command, and just curate my algorithm and what it gives me, it was so important, and it has given me a lot of peace to work and to focus and to do the deep work that I need to be able to do. The other thing that I developed doing, I usually tell people that I'm the kind who loves so many notebooks around. I don't know if you are like me, but I will have like I don't know, like 30 of them around. If it's in my office, I will have I will have 30 notebooks lying around. I love writing a lot. I love downloading my mind onto a writing pad or onto something. But what that has helped me is to create checklists. Now these checklists help me so much in my mentorship, in my daily life. I will have a checklist about everything, because should I need to delegate, then I will be able to delegate better, and the other person will be able to get to get the details of what it is that I want. Why? Because I have made a habit of writing lists. For example, for all my travels, I have lists on my phones where I will say some of them are travel lists, and so I will go and check and say, for example, yesterday I was checking where I was in a certain meeting, and I was checking my travel list, and I was like, okay, so I check everything that I think I have put. What I do is usually 2 weeks to my travel date, I usually bring out my suitcases and just lay them open in my bedroom. So when I lay them open, I just pick the pieces from the closet. So I pick one piece by one that I really think I need, because I don't travel with a lot, but I don't want to forget anything. So I make sure that I know ahead of time, where am I going? What is the weather in that place? So what are the pieces that I am actually taking? What kind of cosmetics am I packing? Where am I packing cubes? What exactly? So now I was going through my list and ticking and saying, okay, all the packing cubes are in place, passport packed, like everything. So I don't have to recreate it every time. I already have it stipulated. I already know how many clothes I want. If I'm going to stay for a month, if I'm going to stay for 2 weeks, if I'm going to stay for 1 week, I already have that checklist. So even if I were delegating and I was sending it to someone to help me pack or help me do all these things, that means I would just be sending the list, choop, the list goes to them, and they have access to my things, and they know exactly where to start. So it makes work easy. Even when it comes to grocery shopping, I do not just think about things in my head every single time. I have a list that I know, okay, this is the weekly shopping list, this is the monthly shopping list, and this is the list of the groceries that are done. I will make sure that I have it makes my work. I should not go into the nitty-gritties every time that I have to be able to, to think about something, I have a spice list. I literally have these lists in my phone, and these have helped me to be very disciplined when it comes to where I give my attention, because then it does not take too much of my attention anymore. So create these checklists. I know they will be very, very helpful. Sometimes I create random checklists about even clothes. I create random checklists about different things, okay? Even about my content, so you don't have to think too much. You will know that, okay, this day, this is what I do. If I need to delegate, I need to be able to tell so and so to buy this and this and this and this. Some of us send our husbands to supermarkets and they have no lists. They even don't know what I've been frustrated a few times. You buy this. They go and if there are 6 things on the list, he has brought 2. And he forgot the rest. And so he started telling me that, you know what, if you really want me to execute this perfectly, just send me a list on my WhatsApp, so that when I go, I have something to check. And, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm done buying this, I'm done buying this, I'm done, or I didn't find this, so I will have to look for it in another place. That helps me. So that made life easy. And that is a discipline, okay? In the moment when you're creating it, it's like you're bothering yourself. But when you eventually need it and you keep needing it, then it's going to be so powerful, okay? So I hope that's something that can also help you in your life. The other thing that I have done in my life is to be able to commit to everything that I try to do. To commit, the level of commitment that I will have accountability. I'll tell people about it. I will tell my husband about it. I will tell maybe a friend about it. But I will make sure that there is a collective, as in I have decided and said, this is what I want to do. And so I am actually going to do it. Now, that takes a lot of discipline. That takes a lot of discipline, because then should you not do that, even if for some people, I know someone who in my mentorship, in my current mentorship, who actually committed to creating content. And so she posts this content every day, shares a post with me, shares a link with me. And then she told me, there's a time I ate free money, guys, like free money. She told me that if I miss a day, I am going to make sure that I give you money. Yeah, I give you this kind of money, and it's not small money. I give you this kind of money. So that for me, it is a pain point. And I've even made that commitment with other people. So if I miss, that means I have to be able to give money to you and to these other people, and money that I really don't have, I am working towards getting. So it will be very painful for me. And so that commitment has kept her going. She has not missed her day ever since she paid me. She paid me once, guys. She missed content, creating content or uploading once, and I ate free money. But ever since then, she did not miss, she has not missed again, and it's been quite some time. So every day, every single day, she actually sends me a link and I go comment on her post. She did not say, please go comment on my post, but I find it, I mean, when someone commits to doing something like that, even if she sends it at midnight, even if she sends, I will always find time to go check it out, read her content, and then leave a comment for her, just to make sure that this accountability is running smoothly. So most people commit to doing things for others, not even themselves. Yeah. It's very hard for you to commit to doing something for yourself. When you remain with it yourself, you realize that it will be very, very, very hard, because then you're only letting yourself down. But if you know you're letting other people down, you'll be like, you know what? I think it's better I pick it up and do it. It's better I actually keep this. I commit to this. It's better I show up for this, because I mean, I'm not just letting myself down, but I'm also telling other people that I'm not disciplined enough. I don't have self-control, and so I'm not doing it. Okay, so I need you to fully commit, find someone and tell it to them. Get an accountability partner, get a mentor, get a coach, and find someone that will keep you accountable, that will keep you on the road to achieving whatever it is that you need. All right. And then the other bit of discipline that I found so helpful with me was some of us have habits of attacking or combining things that we want to do all together. For example, you have set out you have put up your vision board, you have set your goals, and all of a sudden you want to have a go at them simultaneously. Just imagine, you want to lose weight, you want to make money, you want to do this, you want to do that, as in it's quite a lot. You want to hit your nutrition goals, but again, you also want to hit your not just the calorie intake, limit and all that, but you want to do multiple things at the same time. What has helped me is to be able to stack one habit after another. Okay, and what that does for me, I have the clarity of mind. I don't have the fog. I don't have the, I don't easily procrastinate on that. Why? Because I have chosen to focus on one thing. That, okay, I'm focusing on exercise. Yes, I'm focusing on I don't want to focus on so many moving parts at the same time. If it's exercise, I want to be able to be fit. I want to be able to tone. I want to be able to train in, in strength. I want to be able to, so I'm going to concentrate on this so much. But if I want to be able to add on to too many things at the same time, I am dieting, I am working out, I am controlling this, and then I'm controlling that. Before you know it, you're losing out on one thing, and that's not helpful at all. So can you acquire, can you hit, can you overcome, can you conquer one after another, one after another? Because after you're done with it, it becomes a second nature to you. So it becomes like, for example, if I don't wake up to my morning workout routine, like I feel like that I have lost the day, I feel like I'm sick, I feel like I'm not normal, I feel like there's something lacking. Why? Because it has become a part of me, and I prioritized it, and I pushed it, and I'm still pushing it. And when you achieve that, then you can go to another thing, because now this has become a part of you. You no longer struggle. It's not a discipline you have to choose. It is a discipline that is already a part of you. And now I have to establish another discipline, and I have to establish. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, Bahati is so disciplined. Oh, Bahati has it all figured out. Oh, Bahati has so much self-control. It's not so much about having self-control. It's not so much about being too disciplined, but it's about me knowing that I'm human, and knowing that I'm not going to spread myself so thin. So let me stack one good habit after another good habit. And that has actually helped me so much. Okay, so habits are the compounding effect for any kind of success that you ever achieve. So that means build one by one, and before you know it, it will be moving things in the right direction. All right. And then something I discovered also is about the environment and how we actually utilize our environment. You realize that if you really want to go to clean eating and healthy eating, if you always have all the bad food around you, all the junk around you, like it becomes so hard. Like you have just made the battle too hard for you to be able, because then you have to be able to say, oh my God, there is this and then there is this. So now what should I choose? But remember, you set out saying that you want to do healthy eating. And so all of a sudden you have multiple choices. So can you narrow down your choices? Can you clean out your pantry? Can you clean out your fridge if you have to? Because then it's going to be, for example, right now you cannot tell me anything about soda. That is a habit I conquered, that I do not take soda. No. So what I did is I batch make my juice and my vitamin C shots and everything that I need, my anti-inflammatory drinks and everything, and I stack them up. So every time I open the fridge, they are actually right there. And I think my children, I don't know how they learned the hard way, because it looks like juice, but it's not actually the normal sweet juice, because it has no sugar. It's not natural normal sugar that has multiple things that are very beneficial to my health. So every time I'm reaching out, even if it's for water, I would rather reach out for something that for a water where I boiled it, and maybe I put in cinnamon, and maybe I put in hibiscus. I put in hibiscus, and then I put in a bit of lemon, and then I put in a bit of ginger. So every time I'm reaching out for something to drink, I'm actually reaching out for something healthy. It's not sweet, it's not nice, but right now it's part of me, because every time I'm looking at it, every time I open my fridge. So I just made sure that I streamline my decisions, that I do not have to battle with a lot of things. Can you imagine? These days, I forget that there's even ice cream in the fridge. I even forget that, what else will be so tempting? I forget that there are meats in the fridge. I forget. Why? Because I have practiced healthy eating for a very long time, that now it's a part of me, and that is something that I actually conquered. You can have a blast of a party, having everything that you need to have. But guess what? I will still pull out my chia seeds. I'll still pull out my Greek yogurt. I'll still pull out the things that I know are healthy. Why? Because I've put them in my cabinets. I have put all the spices there. I have put everything that I need. Even if the healthy snacks, I have put them up there. So every time I need to reach out to something, I'm reaching out to something healthy. And that helped me to minimize the choices that I had to make. Yeah. So everything that I buy, if I know that this is for children, this is a cake for children, this is chocolate for children, this is ice cream for children, I will allocate it as so, and I will know that, you know what, this is out of my jurisdiction, but everything that is within my environment is something that is helping me on my journey to become stronger, to become healthier, and to become more more clear and level-headed about the things that I want to achieve in life. Okay, so your environment will always win over your willpower. You can have too much willpower, but let me tell you, that willpower will never. It doesn't mean that I don't do the sleep-ups, or I don't sleep up from time to time. I do the sleep-ups. Last weekend, I had, I think, for the whole week I'd been saying, no, you're not taking ice cream, you're not taking ice cream. Why? Because I've been trying to boost their immunity while they get back into school. So on the weekend I decided, it's time to let the guards down, let me just give them some ice cream. So one of them is like, oh, I want the chocolate one. I get the chocolate. I want the strawberry one. So no one wanted peach. Didn't I end up eating peach ice cream? So because I had already scooped it and I had already put it in the ice cream glass, so I was like, okay, instead of just putting it back, let me just, have a little. But still, even that little will be compensated, because then I'll be like, okay, immediately I need to be able to have a cleanse. Immediately I need to be able to do this. Why? Because I have surrounded myself with more healthy options than all the bad options. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to slip up. Discipline does not mean that you're going to be uptight. Discipline does not mean that you're not going to be a normal human being, that you're not going to have fun. I have a lot of fun. And I have learned to have my fun with the things that are actually healthy and things that are really good. So when it becomes your lifestyle, then it ceases to be even a decision that you make. So it becomes a part of you, and it is very normal. So can you start creating the disciplines? And let me tell you, if I had the privilege of going 10 years back, I think, 15 years back or 20 years back, I would have started much earlier. But there is a way life lies to us that, you know what, you will catch up. You know what, you will start at this age. You become like the Ndiwulida in the maze, where they tell you, get out of the maze. And you're like, I will get out when they pick me from the garden. And like, no, they've picked you from the garden, get out. Like, no, I will get out when they start peeling or getting off the husks from the maize. And like, okay, we've started doing this. And like, no, I will get out when I get in the saucepan. And then it's like, get up now, you're already in the saucepan. You're like, but it is not hot. It is not hot. Yeah. When I start feeling hot, I will get out. And all of a sudden, it's already on the heat, and by the time the heat rises to reach the pest or that caterpillar, I mean, it's becoming so powerless and weak that it cannot get out, and it ends up dying. And that is what some of us are actually doing. We catch on the sicknesses and some of the things that should have been very preventable. And why? Because we did not make these decisions very early in life, or we did not become disciplined very early in life. So you have a chance to have an early start. Okay, so use it, utilize it, do something about it. Do not just waste your life just like that. Okay, so it's not hard to make good choices if the options you have are all good. So be in environments, or be in an environment that encourages you to make the sober, the good decisions. Do not make things too hard for you. For example, you say that you don't want to drink, and all of a sudden you're hanging out in spots where there are drunkards, where people are really drinking. And you think you have the willpower to fight that. Just like I said, environment, because you'll be like, oh, I was just escorting my friend, oh, I was just pushing my friend. But you have put yourself in an environment. You said you're not going to drink again. You said you're not going to smoke again. But you are surrounding yourself with friends that are perpetual smokers. You said you're not going to do this again or eat bad. But every time you're in company of people that love junk and, munch on junk and, they thrive on junk. So it makes so hard for you, because every time you'll be like, you know what, let me just eat something small. Let me just drink something small. You know what, let me just take one puff. You know what, let me just So you see, there is a lot of chance for you to compromise, but discipline is something just like we said, it is hard in the beginning, very hard in the beginning, but it creates the long-term success, and it takes away the immediate comfort that you want to create. So while you're having that one puff, while you're having that half a drink, you're like, no, let me just take, in Luganda brings it out well when it says mumiro gumu goka, mumiro gumu, like seriously speaking, okay. I mean, the mumiro gumu will become mumirebiri. Before you know it, your friends will be like, but now you've taken some, you finished the whole of it. And before you know it, you're like, it's just this once. That means you are battling with yourself. You are battling with yourself. You know the right thing to do, but you do not have enough willpower to get yourself out of that scenario. Why you placed yourself in an environment that could not let you make a good decision. Okay, so I don't want you to think, I am too strong. I am too strong. I'm just helping out here. I'm just doing this. I'm just doing. No. If you're not strong, do not even help. Do not even tamper with yourself to place yourself in an environment that does not help. The other thing is, when you know that the kind of discipline that you're setting up yourself for is making losing so painful, like so painful. For me, it's the memories of where I have been. For me, it is the kind of life that I never want to have. For me, even when I look at, people living the kinds of life that I do not want to live, that for me, that is a discipline system that reminds me to not be that, to not be lazy, to not give up, to not be distracted, so that means I have constant reminders, because I have made sure that I understand that losing is so painful, and I do not want to lose a day in my life. I know what it means to live a life that has already lost, okay, or has already give it up. I know what it means, and that is not the kind that I want to be able to. So that, coupled with what I talked about committing to your dream, and I talked to you about the lady that is in my mentorship that say that, I have to make this so painful. If I fail to post this content, I should be able to make payments to some people, and made that commitment. So you realize she made her losing so painful that she cannot stand. She's like, I don't want to lose this money. Let me do it. Even if it's late, let me force myself. I would rather post things that are not perfect. I'm not going to wait until everything is perfect. No, I will do it as is, because I want to be able to create a good life for myself. So you realize she made it so hard for herself to lose, because losing is so painful, because she has to part with something, because she has to part with money, and money that she needs so bad. I know so many people have created different ways of being able to monitor this kind of progress in their lives. There's one who told me that she actually promised to give money into church, a certain amount of money, if she had not, and this was a lady as well, if she had not nailed her goal, if she had not done this and this. So it was so hard. I remember there's a time, I think it was someone was encouraging, no, it was actually Dan Peters, who was encouraging my mother to lose weight. And so he was like, you know what, when I go back and I come back, I'm going to make sure that I shop for you, but I can only shop for you if you lose this kind of weight. And so, and then on top of that, I'm going to give you this amount of money. So what Dan Peters was doing was to set up, as in her failure would mean it's so painful, because then she's not getting the shopping and she's not getting the money. And so I remember that time she actually lost weight. And I remember he did the same with me. He told me, okay, so what's the goal? For me, the goal was actually to start my coaching business. And I was like, okay. And so he was like, you know what? So if I really find that you have started and you are doing this and you're creating your content and we're going to go through everything. If I find that you have been on that trajectory and you have not missed a day in your life, I am going to give you this kind of money. It was not that much money, but I think this old man thought, and later I actually got to know that he had tried to do it with other people or in his life, and they were not forthcoming. They were not budged. Like they were comfortable with where they were. And so he kept me seeing, pushing and pushing. And so every time he used to tell me that, you know what, I have not found a girl that is as self-driven as you. I mean, you're a girl. You should have been having more fun. He asked me, do you drink? I'm like, no, I don't drink. Do you smoke? Do you hang out? I'm like, you know what? I even don't have time for that. I was like, I mean, I want to be able to set this up. I want to be able to push this. I want to be able to do this. And I remember he would even, mention it with other people. It's like, if there is anyone I know that is self-driven, if there is anyone that I know is consistent, Hilda is one of them. But I remember there is a time he actually made it so painful for me to lose because I knew I needed money, and it was very small money. But I knew if I lost or if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, then that money would not come. And so I remember tasking myself to even push, like it was a small encouragement, a nudge in the right direction. But I remember it was so important. But I kept laughing about my mother's weight loss because he was like, you are short. My mother is shorter than me. I was like, I mean, you need to be able to go back to a sizable so that you can avoid sicknesses, so that you can avoid all these things. And so let's make a deal. So this is what, and I remember my mother, like she hit the target. So she got the money and she got the shopping. And I was like, yo, okay. When you are able to set a goal for yourself and you make failure very painful for you, okay, or another person makes failure very painful, then it becomes a motivation to keep up the discipline, to control your emotions, to control your actions, to control. So you realize, just like we began by saying, that discipline is the ability of controlling your emotions, controlling your actions, controlling everything that is within you to make sure that you work towards the goal that you have set for yourself and to make sure that you actually don't lose out on it. All right. So make sure that you make losing so hard and so painful, so hard and so painful, that if I do not hit this target, that means my children are not going to go to that school, and it's so painful for me. That means we don't get to go to a vacation as a family if we are not able to hit this kind of financial goal. That means we are not going to do so. It is so painful to even think about it. You're like, you know what? Let me pursue it. Let me actually go ahead and do it. I have done it with myself so many times. So many times I've said, you know what? No more shopping until I'm able to reach this kind of weight. And let me tell you, yes, it is so hard, because then you're like, okay, I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of places to go, and I have put a ban on myself. And so many times it has actually helped me to be able to know that, you know what, I don't have the leeway to even lose in that arena. So let me work hard so that I can be able to reward myself, okay, and feel like there's an achievement of some sorts. And it has helped so much, okay. And then finding disciplined friends to be able to keep you disciplined, because I have said it so many times that you are the average of 5 people in your life, and if all the 5 people in your life are indisciplined, you are the 6th indisciplined person, okay. So you have to be able to choose, who do you bring into your inner circle? Who do you want close to you? Who do you want? Because when you commit to something, they will hold you accountable. They will not tell you, nyako mumiro gumu. They will not tell you, skip a day of work out, just skip it. You will have to do it some other day. Oh, they will not be able to. They will be like, you know what? We expect better from you. We expect better. And if you want very good accountability friends, by the way, choose a choleric any day, a choleric, okay, because they will be organized. They will put emphasis on the goal that is that needs to be achieved, and they will be there for you every step of the way. When you choose a sanguine, their emotions fluctuate according to seasons and according to times. So even when you tell yourself, no, I'm not going to shop on, they will get you shopping. If you say, I'm not going to drink, they will get you drinking. If you say, I'm not going to do this, they will get you doing it, because their emotions are all over the place. They are just having one big party of a life. Okay, so if you need better accountability and better friends that are going to hold you accountable to you reaching your goal, look for a choleric. And even if it's not a typical choleric, it can be a choleric with a bit of a sanguine. That is a good undertone. Yeah, a choleric with a bit of a melancholy, a choleric with a choleric that has 60% and more choleric, but a 30 or 20% a sanguine or a melancholy or phlegmatic. Phlegmatics are usually very laid back, so most of the times they will never keep you very accountable because they just don't come out of their shell. So also when you are dealing with friends, by the way, and you want people that are going to be able to help you push you to your goals, make sure that you look into that very, very, very in a very serious way. The last thing that I will mention here is how I visualize my goals, because in order for you to be disciplined, you need to be able to see the big picture. You need to be able to see yourself there. Okay, and so many times during my weight loss journey, which I'm still on, I'm at a good place, guys. I am at a very, very good place, but again, I feel like I need to lose 15 more. I know my husband doesn't like it, yeah, but I have to lose 15 more. Because there's a lot that I'm looking at. I visualize myself on global stages at 80 years old, at 90 years old. I do not want to be the old woman that has a back like this. My back should be able to be straight. So that's why I do strength training. That is why I do, some weights. That's why I do cardio. That's why I do. So I'm very, very, very I visualize where I want to get, and then I work towards that. I visualize that by this week I would be the kilograms that I have. Okay, so last week I actually lost 2 kilograms. This week I am losing 2 more. Okay, I'm already on the trajectory of finishing up one of them. So you realize that now I visualize myself ahead of time, and then I work towards that. And I know that we can all do that. So visualize as much as possible. That will keep you disciplined, whether it's the choice of food, whether it's the choice of friends, whether it's the choice of a working environment, whether it's the choice of what to put in your fridge, whether it's the choice of what to cook and how to cook it. Yeah, it will, when you visualize yourself, then you are going to rearrange everything to make sure that it helps you attain that goal. And I will tell you for a fact, I have changed so many things. What kind of oil, not even oil, but what kind of butter do I use to cook? What kind of ingredients do I need? What kind of meats do I need? All that because there's a visualization of the kind of picture that I want, that I'm actually, how much should I pray now if I visualize that kind of person 2 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And I know that it's very, very doable. So if you want to keep disciplined, yeah, make sure that you visualize, yeah, have those moments where you're just looking at the future you. And so let that beckon you, let that call you, and let that invite you and attract you into its space. I love you. In case you have any questions, you have your the numbers on the screen. Make sure that you utilize them. Let's grow together.